from the latest chapters of One Piece, basically we have one name that keeps on resonating in my head again, and I'm talking about the Galleila giants, because they literally appeared in Elbaf when the elder was talking about, hey, I know about the Galleila giants, and they basically disappeared, and they are basically this and that. And then from the other perspective, you also have the Rocks pirates that were talking about them, and they were like, yes, if we could actually get the help of the Galleila giants, maybe we could actually get an ancient weapon or something like that. So we are here to actually talk about the Galleila giants, where they might be, and are they actually still alive? So don't forget, guys, to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's go for this theory. So the Galleila giants basically are giants that came from Elbaf a long time ago, and they decided to actually go outside of Elbaf and do what they want to do. And basically they were mercenaries in a way or something like that, and they had their whole pirate ship and all of that, and they were going around everywhere and terrorizing basically everybody in the One Piece world, and they were renowned to be very crazy and terrible in a way, and very violent also, you know, giants. And some of them were also ancient giants, so but from what we know back in the day to now we understand from what we saw in the story of One Piece, basically they are in punk hazard nowadays, because in the latest episodes and all of that, we saw that basically when Luffy and the Straw Hats were on punk hazard at the same time and all of that, and they were going through the laboratory of punk hazard, at some points they came into a room that was basically just frozen ice, and as soon as they started to look down, they basically saw giants upon giants, and they were basically dressed in prisoner uniforms and all of that. But the fact that they are in ice, that tells me, now, are they alive or not? What happened to them? What could have happened back in the day that literally got them to the point where they are currently? Because they literally look like they were prisoners, and they are in a laboratory, so they got tested on. So who might have attacked them back in the day? And I'm probably guessing that they might have confronted some of the God's Knights or something like that, or slash even Im back in the day, and they wanted to get their power, they wanted to get their ancient weapon, for example, and I'm talking maybe about Pluton or something like that, because maybe they were some of the people that carried the blueprints to Pluton and all of that, and maybe they knew how to fix it, how to work on it and all of that stuff. Like, they were probably some of the best boat workers back in the day. And from that perspective, they probably got attacked back in the day, and somebody actually wanted their power, and I'm guessing that they got attacked by either Im and the God's Knights and all of that, with the help of the Marines and all of that back in the day. And when they got attacked, they decided to not actually kill them because they needed their powers. And that's why we actually see them wearing prisoner uniforms and all of that in Punk Hazard. So the fact that, first of all, they got defeated by somebody is one thing. But then the second thing is they also had to be transported all the way to Punk Hazard. How? That we don't know yet, because literally we are talking about giants in here. We're talking about even ancient giants. So just the size of them and everything, it's got to be pretty tough, because we're not talking about one or two. We're talking about a whole armada of them, like probably 100 or something like that. So to transport all of those Galleila giants, for example, how is it possible? I don't know, but maybe they used a power the same as for Gunko. For example, Gunko can actually direct you to go specific places and all of that. So hey, maybe that works back in the day, even on those giants, you know. But then when they got to Punk Hazard, we know that they probably got experimented on by who? We don't know yet, but I'm probably guessing scientists of the world government back in the day that were trying to get the powers of those giants somehow or something. And I'm basically thinking that they went through a lot of horrible experimentations back in the day. And from here, now we can ask ourselves the question of, do you think they are still alive? Yes or no? because in both cases we got a lot to say. So in the case of yes, they are still alive, I would say that, okay, let's say back in the day they were getting tested on and all of that, and then they were like, yes, looks like our technology is not going to lead us nowhere with all of these giants and all of that, so we might leave them to the future. And I'm here to talk about cryogenics. For example, cryogenics is the science of basically being stuck in ice for the later generations, and with the right temperatures and all of that, all of your body can freeze and then defreeze, basically just like meat in the freezer, basically same process. And so from that same perspective, you go like, if they are still alive, what's gonna happen if all of that ice gets disappears and they come back to life, basically right there? And you can ask yourself, on which side are they actually gonna be? Are they going to be on the side of him, or maybe they got so brainwashed back in the day that they will of course be on the side of him and the world government, and they also might have been turned into devils and all of that already? Maybe. But on the other case, they might have been not turned, they might have been just experimented on and all of that, and they all have been waiting for their god per se of One Piece, which have been Nico slash per se Luffy. So as soon as maybe Luffy will show up or something and he will do something with his devil fruit power in there, maybe all of that ice will disappear and they'll be like, okay, we're gonna follow you, Nika, or something, like we were waiting for you for all these years. So maybe that's a possibility too. And then when it comes to like the ancient weapon, maybe they still have some blueprints somewhere, or maybe they still know how to work on, for example, Pluton, or maybe another ancient weapon, or maybe just on big ships or something like that, and they will have the strongest ships possible. So from that perspective, I see them coming back to life if that cryogenics technology has been used correctly, in a way which I don't believe so in too much. But hey, the possibility is still there. You never know. Maybe they got cryogenicked back in the day, not due to science, but due to a devil fruit power back in the day that made it so solid and so cold, basically, that they got preserved for the later future, you know, basically now for the final fights that, and M was like, yeah, I'm actually gonna use them, but for the final fight, and that's why they got stuck in ice. Because to me, I'm sorry, if you wanted to literally get rid of them, you would get rid of them in fire, or like you would kill them, like literally kill them, or and put them in the ground or something like that, but not in ice. And that's why 50-50, I am saying they probably are still alive. But then from the other perspective of, no, they are actually dead, but their bodies got kept in the ice for the later future so that they can be used. Well, in that perspective, we're talking about maybe you can use some form or shape of power to actually still use the body of those giants in a way. And from that perspective, we've got three options. First one, Big Mom's power. Big Mom, we know she can steal basically life expectancy from people and give it to others or whatever. So maybe from that perspective, she could have, or maybe the next user of that devil fruit power might actually be able to give some life expectancy to those giants and reanimate them in a way. That is a possibility for resurrection. The second option is Moria. Moria, with his devil fruit power, we know that he is basically able to steal somebody's shadow and give it to a dead body, basically, and that body will come back to life in a way. So that is a very big possibility for Moria to actually play a big role with the Galleila giants, you know. And the third one is, of course, inside. Maybe she can possess actually some of the giants and whatever, and that's how and that's why she probably kept those giants, the bodies actually intact throughout the year, so that at the end she can use that as a Joker move, you know. So we'll see. But for my theory on the Galleila giants, I am saying that they are not dead. I am saying that they are still alive, but thanks to the science of cryogenics and all of that, they're actually able to maintain their body for the future years and all of that. On which side are they gonna be? We don't know. I'm probably thinking they're gonna be on Luffy's side, on Lika's side, and all of that. And you guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about this theory? And let's talk about it. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.